Dear students, welcome to our YouTube channel Chem Origin. This is Dr. Satish, Faculty, Department of Chemistry, RGUKT, Srikakulam. Students, in the last session, I make a video on third year group elements. I hope you are enjoying my explanation about third year group elements. Now, in this video session, I would like to deal the topic thermodynamics. Thermodynamics. This thermodynamics topic is in our syllabus in both PUC 2 and PUC 1 SEM 2. So in both PUC 1 and PUC 2, this topic is in our syllabus. So I hope it is helpful for the students who are in the PUC 1 and as well as in PUC 2. Okay, so this thermodynamics topic is very interesting and also very easy. So you should learn and familiar with the concepts of the thermodynamics. Now we can start the thermodynamics concept. Thermodynamics. This thermodynamics is very interesting concept to students. Generally, thermodynamics means thermo means heat. Thermo means heat and dynamics means motion. How heat is in motion, how it will behave in motion of heat, what kind of nature it have. So based on all these characteristics, we discussed about the thermodynamics. This thermodynamics is very interesting concept. Why it is very interesting and very useful, we can see in the coming video. Students, the definition of thermodynamics is generally we define as the conversion of heat into mechanical work and vice versa. Vice versa means in reverse too also possible. Generally, how heat is converted into work and work how is converted into heat. For example, if you see in our daily life, we are using electricity in our daily life. For example, in our home, we are using lights, fans, and other electrical devices with the help of electrical energy. Generally, this electrical energy which is coming from various sources. Nowadays, recently coming solar energy, we are also using solar energy. This solar energy we are converting into electrical energy. Solar energy. From solar energy we are getting electrical energy. Similarly, from thermal energy, we have thermal power plants. From thermal energy, thermal power plants also we are getting electricity. Similarly, we have a nuclear power plants. From nuclear power plants also we are getting electricity. See student, recently one nuclear power plant is started in Tamil Nadu at Kudamkulam. Kudamkulam nuclear power plant. Here in this nuclear power plant, the nuclear energy is converted into electrical energy. Thermal energy in thermal power plant, thermal energy is converted into electrical energy. Solar energy, that solar energy or solar radiation we are converted into electrical energy. Similarly, wind energy also we are using as a mechanical energy as well as electrical energy. In this form, one form of energy is converted into another form. How it will convert? In the conversion, what kind of changes may take place? After conversion, what kind of output we are getting? How we can utilize from the conversion of that energies in different forms into other form. So all these concepts are explained by the or influenced by the or explained or clearly explained by the thermodynamics concept. Hence students, simply we can define thermodynamics is a branch of science which clearly explain the how heat is converted into mechanical work, or vice versa means how mechanical work is converted into heat. In this form, we can easily define thermodynamics. Next, generally, this thermodynamics concept is based on three generalizations. Those are first law of thermodynamics, second law of thermodynamics, third law of thermodynamics. Based on these first law, second law, third law of thermodynamics, we can clearly explain the concepts of the thermodynamics. And one more thing is that why this thermodynamics concept is very interesting is that and very useful is this thermodynamics applications are in chemistry, in physics and in engineering also. So based on these thermodynamic principles, we have applications in our chemistry, physics, as well as in engineering. So in our higher studies, how it is applicable, how it has applications in physics as well as in engineering also, you can learn in your upcoming classes. Next. So before going to the concepts of thermodynamics, students, you should have familiar with the some basic terms used in the thermodynamics. So students, whenever you have familiarity with the terms which are used in the thermodynamics, then only you can easily understood the concepts of thermodynamics. Without familiarity with these basic terms which are used in the thermodynamics, you cannot understand the concepts of thermodynamics. Okay, so we can see what are the terms which are used in the thermodynamics. Generally, thermodynamics we are using basic terms are system, surroundings, and boundary. These are the basic terms we are using generally in thermodynamics. See one by one what is system, what is surrounding, what is boundary. We can see one by one detailedly. For example, students, if you went to chemistry laboratory, there you want to investigate or research on a glass of water, or you can take a 10 ml or a 50 ml of water in a 100 ml beaker. Students, you can assume that this is a 100 ml beaker. Just for example, you can assume for our convenience. For example, you can take a 100 ml beaker. In this 100 ml beaker, you can take a solution. This may be organic solvent or a water. For example, simply you can take a water in a beaker. So, in the water present in the beaker, you want to investigate whether the water is drinkable or not. What is the pH of the water present in the beaker, whether the water is acidic nature or basic nature, whether the water is a soft water or hard water. So in this manner, you want to investigate, which is under the investigation is known as a system. If the system which is except system other than the remaining part of the universe, other than the system remaining part of the universe is known as a surroundings. For example, we went to chemistry laboratory. There we can take a 100 ml beaker and take 100 ml of 50 ml of solvent in the beaker. The solvent which is under our investigation is known as a system. So beaker and the solution present in the beaker remaining part of the universe means chemistry laboratory, our institute, our district, our country, and entire universe becomes the surroundings to that system. So clearly in the beaker and solution remaining part of the entire universe we can define as a surroundings. And one more basic term is boundary. Very simple. Boundary is it is a real or imaginary which separates system from surroundings. See, for example, in our example, the solution present in the beaker, solution is a system and rest of the universe is surroundings. These two are separated by a glass walls or beaker walls. These beaker walls are known as a boundary. So boundary, how we can define the system and surroundings which are interconvertible, through which it may be real or imaginary. Those are known as a boundary. Hence students, these are the terms: system, surroundings, boundary. System is which is under our investigation is a system, and rest of the part in the universe is surroundings. The system and surroundings is separated by a boundary. Now we can see thermodynamic systems. Now we have to concentrate on thermodynamic systems. Thermodynamic systems. In thermodynamic systems, generally systems are the system already just now we are discussed. System which is under investigation, is known as a system. So generally systems are classified into open system and closed system and isolated system. So generally systems are classified into open system, closed system and isolated system. So what is open system, what is closed system, what is isolated system, we can see one by one. Open system, it is a very simple. Open system is nothing but a system in which both matter and energy can be exchanged with the surroundings. For example, you can take a beaker of water. On heating, water present in the beaker, which is in liquid state, is converted into vapor and it is enters into the surroundings. Along with the vapor, heat energy also going into the surroundings. So in this manner, both matter as well as heat energy can be entered or going into the surroundings. Is known as a that type of system is known as a open system. Open system is a system in which both matter as well as heat or energy. Open system is a system in which both matter and energy can be exchanged with the surroundings. And next, closed system. Closed system is a system in which energy only exchanged with the surroundings but not the matter. For example, if you close this beaker with a lid, so on heating, what happened? Heat energy exchanged with the surroundings, but not the matter or water which is present in the beaker, not exchange with the surroundings. For example, in beaker of water, I put a like this lid closed. I put the closed with a lid, and on heating, what happened? The water present in the beaker is on heating becomes converted into vapor, but this vapor does not enter into surroundings because I closed with a lid. And what happened? But the heat energy is coming out from the system. Therefore, closed system is defined as a energy can be exchanged with the surroundings but not the matter. Similarly, isolated system. In isolated system, neither energy nor the matter, both neither energy nor the matter exchange with the surroundings are known as a, those type of systems are known as a isolated system. The best example for isolated system is tea flask. Generally, what we are doing, the hot tea we have to put in a tea flask or thermos flask. So long time the tea is in hot condition only. So in thermos flask, what happened? Neither heat energy nor the matter, means tea here in this example, is not exchanged with the surroundings. Therefore, neither energy nor the matter exchange with the system and surroundings is known as a isolated system. Or only energy can be exchanged with the surroundings nor the matter is known as a closed system. Both matter as well as energy exchanged with the surroundings is known as a open system. In this manner, generally we can define open system, closed system, isolated system. And moreover, two more systems are there in thermodynamic systems. What are those? We can see. Homogeneous system, heterogeneous system. Students, homogeneous system or heterogeneous system, what are these? We can see. Homogeneous system. Homogeneous system is a system in which it is uniform throughout the system. In this uniform throughout the system. In, for example, the best example for homogeneous system is sugar in water. See students, this is now very hot summer na. In summer, what we are doing? We are drinking lemon water. We are used to drinking lemon water. Or we can make fruit juices in our home. So what we are doing in making fruit juices or lemon water in our home, we are adding a sugar in water. Along with the sugar, we also add a small amount of salt in case of lemon water. So the sugar and salt both are dissolved in the water. After dissolved condition, the solution is always looks to be a in liquid phase only. So if you take a sugar solution, if you take a sugar in water, this is always in liquid phase only. Liquid phase only. Liquid phase only. It is in liquid phase only. Or you can take a pure solid. So it is in solid phase only. Or you can take a mixture of gases. Or you can take a mixture of gases. So mixture of gases all are in gaseous phase only. So in this manner, homogeneous system means the system is uniform throughout the system. So solution of sugar in water, after dissolving the sugar in water, it is in liquid phase only. Or a solid you can take, it is in completely solid phase only. Or you can take a mixture of gases in a cylinder. So students, please remember, in our thermodynamics many times we are using gas cylinder as an example. Generally we are using this many times, gas cylinder. So gas is present in a cylinder. So in this a mixture of gases, for example, you can assume in the cylinder it may contains O2 or CO2 and CO2 and nitrogen N2 in the gas cylinder. So these mixture of gases present in the cylinder is also a homogeneous system, because both all oxygen, nitrogen and other gases all are in gaseous phase only. So throughout the cylinder it is in uniform only. Next, heterogeneous system means, other than homogeneous system, means both solution and solvent are in different phase. For example, if you take a saturated solution of sugar in water, means in a glass of water, if you add more amount or large quantity of sugar, then up to certain amount only soluble in water, the remaining part as it is as a solid only. So in a glass of water, if you add large quantity of sugar, so only some amount only soluble in the water and remaining part as it is as in solid state, as a sugar only. So this is known as a heterogeneous system. So the system in which it is not uniform throughout the system. So in saturated sugar solution, sugar in water, what happened? Sugar is remaining as a solid state and remaining part of the solution is in liquid phase. So in solid and liquid are both in one system. These types of systems are known as heterogeneous system. Homogeneous system, heterogeneous system. Students, one more time I will remind you. So in thermodynamics many times we are taking gas present in a cylinder taken as an example to explain the concepts of thermodynamics. So you can remember, always we are using like this gas cylinder. In the cylinder gas is present. This may be ideal gas or a N2 gas or a mixture of gases. So these type we are taking as a examples to explain the concepts of thermodynamics. Work and heat. Students, these two are very important concepts. So now we are slowly entering into thermodynamics original concepts. So please carefully learn these topics, work and heat. So what are these we can see. Students, in our school studies we learn the definition of work as a work equals to force into displacement. The displacement of a system by the application of force is known as a work. Generally work is denoted with a symbol W. Work is denoted with a symbol W. Students, in thermodynamics you can remember, always generally we use W for work. Okay, so please remember this one. And generally in our school studies we learn work equals to force into displacement. So the displacement of a system by the application of force is defined as a work. Similarly, there are many types of works we can see. For example, electrical work. Electrical work, how we can define? Charge into potential. Here that equals to Q into V. Q means charge and V is here potential. So this is electrical form of work, or you can define gravitational work. In gravitational work, how we can define? M into G into H. These terms already we are familiar. M equals to mass of the object or mass of the body. Next, G is acceleration due to gravity. Here G is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity. And H, height, the object is moved. Height moved, the object. So gravitational work is defined as M into G into H. M is the mass of the body, G is the acceleration due to gravity, and height moved H denotes. So in this manner, different forms of work we can define. So in thermodynamics, the important thing is that work in terms of pressure and volume. So students, you concentrate on this concept. This is very, very useful and very important for our topic, pressure volume work. So in terms of pressure and volume, how we can define work? So for this I take an example. You can take a cylinder. In this cylinder you can take a gas, or you can take like this. You can take a cylinder. This is your cylinder. In this cylinder, what I do, I take a gas. I take gas in this cylinder. So in this cylinder, if I applied some pressure on this gas, so what kind of work it will take place? See how I defined work equals to pressure, external pressure into V2 minus V1, that equals to P external into delta V. See student, initially the atmospheric pressure, let us assume atmospheric pressure around 1 atmosphere pressure is present. So in a cylinder which contains gas, 1 atmospheric pressure is applied. What happened here? Atmospheric pressure means it is always 1 atmosphere only pressure. But after applying 1 atmospheric pressure on the gas which is present in the cylinder, what happened? The gas may be compressed or expanded. Compression takes place or expansion takes place. Let us assume that suppose compression takes place. Suppose if compression takes place, what happen? The volume of the gas which is present in the cylinder is decreased. The volume of the gas present in the cylinder is decreased. Let us assume initially the volume of the gas is V2, and after applying 1 atmospheric pressure on the gas cylinder, the volume of the gas in cylinder is changed to V1. So volume is decreased from V2 to V1. Volume is decreased from V2 to V1. So the work done here we can define as a W equals to external pressure P external. That's why I write here P external, and volume is changed from V2 to V1. That's why I write here V2 minus V1. This is nothing but change in volume. That's why here I write delta V. Here the delta V represents change in volume. See students, here we can assume any manner. V1 may be initial volume, or V1 is a final volume and V2 is initial volume. Whichever the manner you can take. Suppose if you take V1 is a initial volume and V2 is a final volume, let us assume our gas which is present in the cylinder, it is expanded from V1 to V2. What will happen? We can see work done on the system. Initially what we do, we applied 1 atmospheric pressure on the gas. So here work is done on the system. Here gas present in the system is our, here the gas present in the cylinder is our system. Students, already I defined system. You already familiar with the word system. So here gas present in the cylinder is my system. Here what happened? I apply 1 atmospheric pressure on the gas which is present in the cylinder. So here work is done on the system. Work is done on the system. Students, please be careful the terminology what I am using. Work done on the system. Here I applied pressure on the system and its volume is changes from V2 to V1. So here initial volume, here I assume V2 and final volume V1, and the work done on the system is equals to W into P external into V2 minus V1. Here V2 is greater than V1. Therefore V2 minus V1 becomes positive and P external is positive. Therefore overall W work is positive. So students, you always remember work done on the system. Work done on the system. Work done on the system. Please careful with this word on. Work done on the system means W is always positive. Suppose if the gas which is present in the cylinder is expanded from a volume of V1 to V2, or this, let us assume this is your V2. This is your, you can assume this is V2 and this is V1. If the gas is expanded from a volume V2 to V1, what happened? The work done by the system. Here gas is expanded. The gas present in the cylinder is our system. So work is done by the system. In this case what happened? V1 is greater than V2. Therefore W becomes P external into negative. Overall the work is negative. So students, please remember work done by the system W negative. Work done on the system W positive. So students, in the coming topics there we have to do numerical problems. Those numerical problems are solved on this terminology only. Work done on the system, work done by the system. So you should be familiar with this terminology and concept. Very, very important concept. Pressure, volume in form of work. Work in the form of pressure and volume. Very, very, very important. Heat. Heat is defined as the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree centigrade. For this, for example, students, you can take a beaker. In this, let us assume 1 gram of water is present in the beaker. Just for our convenience, you can assume 1 gram of water is present in a beaker. So initially the water, here water is our system. Initially the temperature of this system is, let us assume 25 degree centigrade. Its temperature is 25 degree centigrade. Suppose if its temperature, if the system's temperature is raised to 26 degree centigrade, 26 degree centigrade, for 26 degree centigrade, so we must supply of heat. You can heat the, we should heat the system or we heat the water. So how much amount of heat we supplied to the system to raise its temperature by 1 degree centigrade is defined as a heat. How much of heat? The quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of system by 1 degree centigrade for a 1 gram. So in this example, in a beaker you can take 1 gram water. Initially its temperature is 25 degree centigrade. To raise its temperature 26 degree centigrade, how much of heat we supply to the system is defined as a heat. Heat. This is also one of other important topic. Along with work, heat is also very important. So please remember the quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water by 1 degree centigrade. Next, units of heat and work. Generally the units for work is liters atmosphere or joules or calories. Similarly, heat also we measured joules or ergs or in calories. And one more important thing is that students, you should please be familiar with the units interconversion. Units interconversion, because units interconversion, because what happen sometimes in interconversion. Sometimes the examiner asking the numerical problems, the given data is in one units and he asked answer in another units. For example, in a numerical problem, he give in volume in liters atmospheres, and he asked the how much of work done takes place on the system, how much work done takes place on the system. In this manner, he asked the answer in joules, or give some data in joules and get some data in liters atmosphere, or sometime he expect the answer in calories. So students, please be familiar for units interconversion. So 1 liter atmospheres is equals to 101.3 joules. 101.3 joules is equals to 24.2 calories, or 24.2 calories is equals to 101.3 joules. So please remember, 1 liter atmosphere equals to 101.3 joules, that equals to 24.20 calories. So this units interconversion is very important in solving the numerical problems on thermodynamics unit. So numerical problem solving these units interconversion is very, very important. Next, thermodynamics properties. Thermodynamics properties are generally two types: extensive properties and intensive properties. Extensive properties and intensive properties. This is very simple, students. Extensive properties, the properties of a system which are depend upon the total material present in the system. Total material present in the system is defined as a extensive properties. For example, you can see mass, volume, internal energy, heat content, Gibbs energy, entropy, heat capacity. All these are examples for extensive properties. For example, you can see mass. If you take a large quantity of material, if you take, then its mass becomes very high. If you take a small amount, large amount material, if you take, its mass is very high. If you take a small quantity of material, small amount of material, its mass is less. So in this manner, the properties of a system which is depends upon the total material present in the system is defined as a extensive properties. One more thing is that, students, in the extensive properties, these are very, very important: internal energy, Gibbs free energy, entropy, heat capacity. So these are the concept we learn in the thermodynamics unit. So be familiar with. Always you can remember, internal energy is an extensive property, entropy is an extensive property, Gibbs free energy is an extensive property, heat capacity is an extensive property. Similarly, volume also, you can take a large volume, it depend upon large quantity. So volume, mass, internal energy, all these are the examples of extensive properties. Next, intensive property. So opposite to extensive property. So the properties of a system which are independent on total material present in the system. So the properties which are independent on the total material present in the system is defined as a intensive properties. For example, density or pressure, temperature, freezing point, specific heat. All these are generally independent on the quantity or material present in the system. Whether the system contains large quantity or small quantity, its density remains constant. Whether you are taking large quantity or small quantity of material, its pressure is constant. Its temperature does not vary. Boiling point. So the properties which are independent of the total material present in the system is known as a intensive properties, and these examples. So students, in your academic examinations, means mid semester and end semester, there is a possibility ask a question like that: define the thermodynamic properties or define extensive and intensive properties with examples. So in this manner you can expect a questions. Okay, so very important students, please remember what is extensive properties and intensive properties with their examples. So dear students, I hope you enjoy this session. This module 1 I successfully completed here. So in the coming module we can see the new concepts. For PUC 1 students, these are in our syllabus, and for PUC students, even though these are not in our syllabus, but you should be familiar with these basic concepts. Okay, thank you one and all.